Simon Leviev. The name itself sounded like wealth. He appeared on Tinder, not like a typical profile, but as a revelation. His photos were a curated gallery of opulence. Private jets, designer clothes, exotic locations. It was a life most people only dreamed of, presented as his everyday reality. He wasn't just attractive, he was a gateway to a different world. Imagine swiping through endless ordinary faces, then his. A man in a cockpit, dining at a Michelin-starred restaurant. His smile seemed genuine. His eyes held a certain magnetism. The initial messages were charming, witty, and engaging. He wasn't pushy or crude. He was, it seemed, a gentleman. He knew how to make a woman feel special, seen even before they met. Conversations moved beyond superficial pleasantries. He'd ask about dreams, aspirations, sharing snippets of his own life, business deals, managing a family empire. He painted himself as the Prince of Diamonds, a son of a billionaire. Each detail was designed to impress, to disarm, to draw you in. The luxury wasn't just a backdrop, it was a tool, a powerful statement suggesting he had everything, needing nothing from anyone. His Tinder profile was a masterpiece of deception. The bio hinted at a life of international business and adventure. Interests aligned with a sophisticated, jet-setting lifestyle. Fine dining, travel, art. He understood the language of aspiration. The early conversations were carefully managed. He'd respond quickly, showing interest but not desperation. He'd use voice notes, his accent vaguely European. He'd share photos that seemed spontaneous. These real-time updates made his fabricated life feel immediate and believable. He was selling a dream, and he was a very persuasive salesman. He often mentioned his work in the diamond industry, LLD Diamonds, the family business. This provided a plausible explanation for his wealth and travel. A quick search might reveal a real company, blurring the lines between fiction and reality. He was meticulous, understanding a good lie contains a kernel of truth. He created an image of a man seeking a genuine connection. This apparent vulnerability, this hint of loneliness amidst the glamour, often hooked his targets. He wasn't just rich, he was a rich man seeking something real. This made the illusion even more potent, more irresistible. The first date. It often involved a private jet or a lavish dinner. He'd sweep in, all charisma and expensive cologne. Flowers, gifts, grand gestures, love bombing at its finest. He projected effortless generosity, champagne flowing, bills paid discreetly. He sold not just a relationship, but a dream lifestyle. It was easy to get swept away. He made them feel like princesses. They weren't just falling for him, but for the beautiful story he was weaving. Then, just as the relationship felt secure, the first signs of trouble emerged. It started with a vague mention of enemies, competitors in the ruthless diamond business. He'd speak of security threats, needing to be careful. This added drama, intrigue, making him seem vulnerable. The messages became more urgent, frantic. He'd send photos of his bodyguard, Peter, supposedly injured, or videos of himself in an ambulance, claiming he'd been attacked. These were staged, but felt terrifyingly real. "I need your help," he'd say. "My enemies are tracking my credit cards. I can't use them. It's a security risk." The plea was framed around his safety. This was the pivot, the moment the dynamic shifted. He had spent weeks showering them with luxury, making them feel indebted. Now, he was calling in a perceived emotional debt. He wasn't asking for a handout. He was asking for help from someone he trusted. He'd emphasized the temporary nature of the request. Just until the danger passed, the amounts requested would start small, but escalate. He'd promised to pay it all back, with interest. It was a calculated move, exploiting their trust and concern for his well-being. Once a victim sent money, the requests continued. The so-called enemies were always closing in. Simon Leviev was a master of manipulation, creating a constant state of crisis. He'd use emotional blackmail. If they hesitated, he'd question their love, their loyalty. "I thought you cared about me. My life is in your hands. The pressure was immense, relentless. He isolated his victims, making them believe they were the only ones who could help. He discouraged them from talking to friends or family. This isolation made them more dependent on him. They were trapped in his narrative, a terrifying story where only they held the key to his survival. The victims took out loans, emptied their savings accounts. They borrowed from friends and family. Some even took on multiple credit cards, maxing them all out. The sums became staggering, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, all sent to a man they believed was a billionaire in temporary distress. The absurdity of it, looking back, is clear. But at the time, they were deep inside the illusion, fueled by fear and hope. Their hard-earned cash was funding his lavish lifestyle. The financial ruin was catastrophic. Women who had been financially stable found themselves drowning in debt. Collection agencies called constantly. The threat of bankruptcy loomed large. Some lost their homes. Their credit scores were destroyed. The money Simon Leviev stole wasn't just numbers. It represented years of hard work and dreams. But the emotional devastation was, for many, even worse. The sense of betrayal was overwhelming. This man, who they believed loved them, had systematically deceived them. He preyed on their kindness, their empathy. The shame and self-blame were immense. Relationships with friends and family suffered. Many victims suffered from anxiety, depression, and PTSD. The experience left deep scars, changing the course of their lives. The trust they had in others and in themselves was shattered. The recovery was, and continues to be, a long, arduous journey. For a long time, Simon Leviev, born Shimon Hayut, seemed untouchable. He moved seamlessly between countries, changing identities. His victims were scattered across Europe, their stories slowly connecting. They shared their pain, their evidence. The web of deceit was intricate, spanning multiple borders. Catching him would not be easy. He was a ghost in the system. In July 2019, the chase appeared to be over. He was arrested in Greece. Interpol had him. He was using a fake passport. It felt like a victory, a moment of reckoning. He was extradited to Israel, his home country, to face charges. But these charges were for past offenses, unrelated to the Tinder swindling. He was convicted in Israel, sentenced to 15 months in prison. 15 months for years of deception, for millions stolen. It felt like a slap on the wrist. He was released after serving only 5 months. The news was a fresh blow to his victims. The leniency of Simon Leviev's punishment sparked criticism. 5 months served for crimes with far-reaching consequences. Many legal experts pointed out the disparity. White-collar crimes often result in lighter sentences. Was it because the weapon was charm, not a gun? Critics argued the sentence failed to reflect the severity of the harm caused. The financial losses were immense, but the psychological trauma was immeasurable. The legal system struggled to adequately quantify and punish this kind of emotional damage. There was also the issue of jurisdiction. Leviev's crimes spanned multiple countries. Prosecuting him for the full extent of his schemes required complex international cooperation. His Israeli sentence was for older local fraud charges. The broader network of deception remained largely unpunished. The short sentence sent a troubling message. Did it signal that such crimes were not taken seriously enough? For the victims, his quick release was a painful reminder of their powerlessness. Simon Leviev's story is more than just a sensational tale of a con artist. It's a stark warning for our digital age. We live so much of our lives online. We build connections, seek romance, share information. In this vast digital landscape, shadows lurk. Deception can be crafted with alarming ease. Personas can be manufactured, trust weaponized. This is the new frontier of fraud. Technology, particularly dating apps and social media, played a central role in Leviev's schemes. These platforms allowed him to create a convincing illusion of wealth and status. They facilitated rapid, intense communication, helping him build deceptive bonds quickly. The very tools designed to bring people together were twisted to tear lives apart. He exploited the inherent desire for connection. This case forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about trust and vulnerability. How do we verify who someone is online? How do we protect ourselves from sophisticated manipulators? The old adages take on new urgency. We must be vigilant. The Tinder Swindler saga underscores the need for greater awareness. Personal security isn't just about locking doors. It's about safeguarding our hearts and digital lives.